Now, Michigan Reimagined with Chris Buck.
So if you have children, pretty much of any age, you're going to hear parents lament the chronic gaming and streaming and wish that being outdoors and exercise was more of their priority. Well, here to discuss an exciting concept planned for our region called Strikeout Baseball is Vic Verchereau and Jeff Lazaros to talk about Strikeout Baseball. So welcome, Vic and Jeff.
Well, thanks for having us, Chris.
Really looking forward to hearing this. I got a dose of it during the Chamber Roundtable, so I had no idea this was in play, and I said I need to get these guys on to hear more personally. So thank you so much for joining us here today. So, with the both of you here, you guys get to pick who answers some of these questions. But so is the concept of Strikeout Baseball already live in other regions, or is Lansing kind of the beginnings of this whole concept?
Yeah, I think the visionary on this whole thing belongs to Jeff. Jeff Lazarus is the visionary. It comes from his heart and his vision. And so, Jeff, why don't you share your thoughts on that?
There's a saying that I often use that in growing up in the inner city, baseball is a way of life. And you don't realize that until you're outside of that element later on and realize that baseball was really a glue that pulled the neighborhood kids together. I often talk about the scenarios where we would play sandlot ball and literally play 9-on-9 with 9 kids waiting to play the winning team. You're talking nearly 30 kids at a park.
Yep.
You'll never see that in this day and age. And one of the things that drove me to want to do this is my passion for the game. Growing up in Detroit, my first job was at the old Tiger Stadium as a kid. Got a lot of great memories. My dad and Ernie Harwell wrote some songs together. They were personal friends. So being able to walk into work at Tiger Stadium as a kid, already loving the game, just helped me to develop more of a love for our national pastime. I played baseball through high school into college. And as a left-handed pitcher, I knew I was a hot commodity. I thought I had a chance of really making the big leagues. And I was throwing mid to high 80s out of high school. So I had no other plans in my life other than to be a Major League Baseball player. And when I realized that I wasn't going to make it, I thought of a way that maybe could not only give back to the game, but something to reinvigorate and spark an interest with our young kids to play baseball. Part of my sales pitch in this whole program is if 4 kids were sitting around playing video games, they could very easily say, hey, let's go play some tennis, or let's go play some hoop, or let's go play golf. But those 4 kids will never breathe the words, let's go play baseball, because you're not going to go out onto a baseball field and play with 4 or 6 kids. Strikeout Baseball is a concept that allows these 4 or 6 kids to come pitch, hit, and field inside of a miniature stadium. And it's just exciting, the momentum that it's gained over the years. My original thought in doing this was to get a Major League ball player on board, which I did early on, which was ex-Tiger Mickey Lolich.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Lolich is a huge advocate of what I was trying to do. He played a game they called it tennis baseball. Essentially, you're pitching to a wall. There's live pitching, hitting, and fielding. There's no base running. There's no fly balls because it's a confined space. But you're talking about an opportunity for kids to come into this miniature stadium and actually pitch and hit and field and feel like they're on a Major League ball field. And one of the exciting things about my facility was the fact that I added some caveats in the sense of I had a public address announce system. I had a sound effects machine that had crowd noise and organ sounds. So here's a 12, 13, 14-year-old kid playing ball against his buddies, feeling like he's in a professional stadium. I mean, it was exciting.
So can you explain to the listeners exactly what Strikeout Baseball is from a physical and a programming standpoint? Once this is live, what does it look like? And how do people interact with it?
Vic, you want to answer that one?
Well, I think what's really exciting, Chris, is that this truly is a miniature stadium. Think of it as an enclosed stadium, so it has netting all around it. It has a firm backstop, which would be something that pitchers would throw the ball against. It has basically close to a standardized infield, but really not much of an outfield at all. It just has a large wall in the back, and if you hit the ball and it goes to the square that says base hit, then you've got a ghost runner on first base. It can go to another area where it says out. It can go another home run, whatever it might be. So there's a lot of things that can happen. And Jeff was saying, 4 to 6 kids. You can play with 2 kids, Jeff.
One-on-one, yeah.
And here's what's exciting to me. When Jeff brought this around, what I got excited about is Mickey Lolich said, hey, this is the game that made me a Major League Baseball player. This is what I did to get really good. So it focuses on all the skill areas of hitting and catching and pitching and such. And those are the things that happen. And also, I got involved, Chris, because Jeff's vision is far greater for Strikeout Baseball. I believe there will be a time when these stadiums will be built all around the country. I believe that these stadiums will be in international, even in these communities where they don't have a lot of space. Why I'm involved is because this involves kids. And I think about the Lansing area, and what we want to do is invest in our Lansing youth so they know that people, first of all, care about them, they believe in them, and that they want to give them space to dream. And that's what's so exciting for us. And so Jeff and I are excited to announce, as we said in the chamber meeting, we're excited to have not only the endorsement, but we're having an opportunity to name this stadium the John Smoltz Strikeout Baseball Stadium.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, we all have.
Kind of a big deal.
Isn't that cool? And he was I think it was 2015. He was brought into the Hall of Fame. So this is one of our favorite sons from Lansing, Michigan. He grew up just down the area, and he got so excited. He said, "Vic, listen, I get invited to do all kinds of things I can put my name to, and I pass on virtually all of them. I'm not passing on this one because I'm excited about what Strikeout Baseball could do for baseball itself." He said that he believes that Strikeout Baseball can do for baseball what Topgolf has done for golf. And I went, whoa, I think we're on to something, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Those guys are doing pretty well, I think, right?
Yeah, and so we're really excited. And Jeff, you got somebody that knows Johnny Smoltz pretty well, right?
His dad.
Yeah, he's joined our
known him
advisory.
his whole life.
You know, we've become pretty good friends over the past month. I was introduced to his dad through John's sister, Bernadette, her and I are friends, and she had mentioned her dad a little bit about what we're doing. Didn't really disclose the whole program, so he was in town a few weeks back, and she brought him to my house. He spent 3 hours at my place. What an honor, what a gentleman. The excitement, the energy that he brings to the table is second to none. We're excited to have him on what we're calling our advisory board for some PR and promo stuff. But he wants to be a part of making this happen, not just here, but he sees the vision and he sees the potential in what we're trying to do in growing the game of baseball with our young people. And essentially that's what Strikeout Baseball is geared towards, is just sparking an interest, getting kids involved with the game. You know, one of the things I talk about is I had a guy say to me a few years ago, hey, this is a great idea for us guys that love baseball that can't really play no more.
Right.
Because there's no base running and there's not a lot of running, but you're pitching and hitting and fielding. Yeah. It's fun. I go, you're right. But I look at it on the other end of the spectrum to say, I'm looking at a kid that's 9, 10, 11. One, maybe he's not good enough to play in a municipal or city league. Or two, he already played and they stuck him in right field, and he goes, well, this game's boring. I don't really want to play this ever again.
Right.
So when you take the action-packed parts of baseball and combine them into this fun stadium that's unique, and it's free, mind you, for the kids to play, I mean, what a better, unique, dynamic way to get kids excited about playing baseball.
Right.
And Chris, I have to tell you, one of the most exciting things for me is that Jeff has done so much work on this, but the city has endorsed this.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. I mean, you got Smoltz, you got Lolich, you got you two, and I was curious. There's usually many hands make light work. What other stakeholders are at the table? So let's start with the city.
Well, that's really exciting. Jeff has been tenacious. He's been quite a visionary on this whole thing, and he's made all the contacts, done a lot of the heavy lifting, and the city has designated part of Ferris Park, right in the shadow of the Capitol building, right there beside Beacon Field, which is a soccer field. It's a beautiful facility, and we're so excited. Mike Price of the Athletic Authority said, Vic, if we get this stadium built, those two stadiums side by side will be one of the most unique parks anywhere in the country, and he knows athletics. So we're excited. This is something that's going to be incredibly important to kids. It's going to be incredibly important to, I think, the beginning of something big for baseball, to reintroduce baseball into the inner cities, into large cities, small cities, anybody that cares. And America's pastime is reborn, and we have a chance to reach out and tell every child in Lansing, we care about them. We believe in you so much. We're going to invest in this program, in this facility, and that is something, a message that does bring hope and opportunity and allows kids to dream. And that's what I'm so excited about.
That's clearly, and it's such a great story, and that's why I wanted you on. So you've got the idea, you've got some credibility and really big names that are behind you, you've got the space. So what's next? What does it take to build this up?
Is a few bucks.
Always comes down to that, doesn't it?
Though? It does. We figure because of the unique nature of this, and I told Jeff, I said, Jeff, we've got to get the visuals together so people can understand what this is. Because when we say our project is roughly $300,000, we'll put it up for under $300,000. There's a lot of people going, I can put in a baseball field by mowing the grass and stringing a fence up there. What are you talking about? This is something that changes the dynamics, number one, of baseball. It is a different kind of stadium. It's going to take a great amount of cement and different unique construction. But the other thing is that's what makes it so powerful, because kids are going to look at that and go, what's that? And they're going to have a chance to go see it. So what we did, Chris, is we created 9 of these legendary monuments for us to say, listen, everybody wants to be a part of that. And the first 4 of those we are selling for $20,000 each. The next 5 will go for $25,000. We've got 3 of the first 4 sold basically and spoken for. So we're kind of running out of the cheap ones, but we're headed for, and that's a pretty reasonable cost. When you think it's a one-time donation, the city is going to mow the grass around the facility. We'll probably have some dollars we'll put into it in a 5-10 year renovation later on. But this isn't something we're asking people to pay over and over again. We're saying, let's launch some dreams. Let's do it with a one-time gift, and let's make a difference. And we've had people that are private businessmen that don't want to be named. They don't want to be public about this. They go, you know what? I like this challenge. I like what we're doing here. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. So I think it's part of what we've got to do, Chris, is get the word out. And I know there's a lot of big companies here in town that honestly do a lot of big things to get asked all the time. But there's also some medium-sized companies, and this one fits just right for those organizations because it's not a lot of money. Right.
Okay. So what's your timeline? You know, I mean, obviously it's going to be predicated on when the money kind of comes together, but I mean, and like once you get confidence in the funding, what's the turnaround time? When are we throwing pitches?
I'm smiling and laughing here, Chris, because if I were looking over at my buddy Jeff's going yesterday. Right. So this has been his dream for years and years. And Jeff even built a prototype stadium to kind of get the kinks out. Probably what, Jeff, 20 years ago or so?
Yeah, pretty close.
So we want to start this as soon as possible. We've got architectural drawings. We've got basically all the infrastructure. We're a 501c3 entity that's been put in place. We're ready to go. We've got about $60,000 roughly raised on the way to our $300,000. So what we like to do before we go too public with this and get the whole world on a GoFundMe page, we're talking about trying to get roughly $200,000 raised initially, and then let the public kind of finish us off with their $500,000, $200, $50 donations. We'll take them all. But that's kind of what that's all about. So Jeff, yesterday is the right answer?
You know, I don't want to say that, but I do believe that I've been pretty patient in all this, so let's not knock me there. But I want to point out something to you, Chris, is that I learned a while back throughout this process that, and I'd like for you to finish this for me if you know it. If you're the smartest person in the room,
you're in the wrong room.
You got it. I've learned to surround myself with some amazing people here in Lansing. I think one of the things that I'm really proud about, not only through developing this project, but the effort that it's taken to get the people on board, and I'm going to do some name dropping here. So Brent Forsberg is our key guy in place for the development project of this. He's extremely excited. I reached out to him back in December and said, hey, we're going to do a lot of legwork over the next 6 months. We're going to bust our butts to try to make this happen. I'm going to get the right people involved. You know, never knowing Smoltz was going to get on board, right? And here we are. But he made a commitment and said, you do the work, you get the money, We'll make it happen. A lot of these businesses are behind the times because of COVID. They're struggling to get back into place. And this isn't a huge project by any means, but he said, I'll make a commitment to you that this will happen if you do what you need to do on your end. So I've gotten people like Mike Price, Brett Kaczynski at the Parks and Rec, Mayor Andy Shore, head coach Jake Boss at MSU, Chris Holman has been an advocate. Chris made a statement on one of our presentation videos. He said this could become like the farm system for young kids that want to go on to play baseball in the traditional form. That's a big statement. That's really what Strikeout Baseball does. It allows kids to come in and play recreationally, but work on serious skills. And it's a tool for kids that already play the game to come in. Mr. Smoltz told us stories a few weeks back about how John would go and pitch at the local school. There was a chimney, and he would pitch to the chimney. And obviously, if you missed the width of the chimney, it was a ball. And, and that was what his tool was in
motivation to not chase balls.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there you go. So it's just kind of cool stories like that have excited me and the response that I get, and when we share this, it's exciting because I can give you a kind of a insight as to what this game is, the demographic of what Strikeout Baseball is, what it has to offer, not just to the community, the kids, but the game of baseball itself. But, to see this thing built in Lansing is going to be awesome. I'm excited to have the people we have involved.
So, Jeff, where would they send, where would they want to, if they have further interest, how do they get a hold of us?
We have a website. It's strikeoutbaseballusa.org. And, of course, we're always reachable via telephone through some of the numbers that are attached to the website. So we're looking for contributions. We want to wrap this thing up. And I'm just excited by the team of people that I have built. And, of course, Vic Verchereau being the director of this whole program. Thank you, Vic, for all your effort.
It's an honor.
Well, it's fantastic to have you. No kidding. Yes. Strikeoutbaseballusa.org. Go take a look at it, fill in the blanks mentally, get out your checkbooks, and let's make this thing real. I appreciate Vic and Jeff. Thanks for coming in and sharing your dream with us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks so much, Chris. You're great.